Hey viewers, today I'm continuing work on this bike with the Shimano front freewheel system. If you haven't seen my other videos, go check them out. I'll include links in the description. But today I'm going to remove the crankset, overhaul the bottom bracket, and I'm going to clean lube the little front freewheel on this crank here. This particular one here is a one-piece crank on here, but they also come in three-piece versions with square taper bottom brackets. But this is what I have right now, so this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to start off by removing the pedals here. I really don't need to remove the drive side one here, but I'm going to go ahead and remove the non-drive side in order to remove the crank out of there. So I might as well go ahead and remove this one as well, and I can lube the threads in there. One off. And let's try to get this one off. This one's a little tighter here. So down with some Conocoil penetrating oil on there. Okay, I got this thing off. That thing was on there tight, a lot of rust. This is why you grease your pedal threads when installing pedals, so it doesn't get stuck in there. And this was a steel spindle in a steel crank arm. If it had been like a steel spindle in an aluminum crank arm, it could be even worse. You get galvanic corrosion on there, and those things can almost just weld in place and take the threads out of the aluminum arm when you take the pedals out. So remember, grease your pedal threads. Okay, so now I want to remove this lock nut on here, and I believe this is left-hand threaded, so I need to turn it clockwise to loosen it. So I got a big adjustable wrench here, and so there, go ahead and loosen this off, and pull this off just like that. And then underneath the lock nut, there's a keyed washer here, which try to get this loose in there. There it goes. And pull this off there, so it's got the little key there. And then I can unscrew this. Again, this unscrews clockwise. Just like this. And there's some caged bearings in here, so I got those off just like that. And so now I want to work this arm out here. Oh, I'll pull this chain off here like this, and then I got to work the arm through here like this. And so there's the bearings on the other side, and so there you kind of see the little freewheel bearings in there like that. So here's the crank, and you get a close-up of the freewheel mechanism there. Everything in there is pretty dirty and greasy in there. So I think I'm going to use some degreaser, scrub brush, some warm water, and get in there and just scrub all this old dirt and grease and stuff off of there to start off with. Now next I want to flush out all the old grease and dirt inside the mechanism, and I'm going to use WD-40 to help flush this out, and it'll also help get rid of the water that was in there from washing the whole thing. So kind of get that in there and move this around and just try to get all the old gunk flushed out. And you can see like all the old dirt and grease kind of coming out the other side there. Okay, so once you think you have all the old dirt and grease and stuff flushed out, go ahead and take a cloth and just kind of wipe it down and try to, and you can also hook up like an air compressor and blow any of the remaining WD-40 out there if you want. Then we want to lubricate it. WD-40 is not a good lubricant, so you want to use something a little bit more substantial, an actual lubricant. Some people use Fill Tenacious and some people use Tri-Flow. Fill is thicker and Tri-Flow is thinner. Now these are not really weight-bearing bearings in here, so they just kind of like spin when you're not pedaling. And so I'm going to use a thinner oil here. I'm going to go ahead and use Tri-Flow. And I have a spray bottle around here somewhere. I couldn't find it, but I got this little drip bottle. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to drip the Tri-Flow into the bearings. And then I can spin it around to kind of help it work it down into the mechanism. And get some more in there. And just kind of help work it down through the bearings, into the pawls, and get it all through the mechanism. It'll come out through the other side a little bit. And get it all lubricated there. See, it's coming out through the other side there. And so that's probably as much as I'll use. Okay, well I cleaned up all the parts. The little freewheel system here is turning nice and smoothly now. It's all clean and lubed. I kind of cleaned up the rust off the arms, but I'm not really that concerned about that at this point. Here's the bearings. I cleaned these up. They look like they're in pretty good shape, so I'm just going to go ahead and reuse these with some fresh grease. There's a little cone that came out of the other side, and I cleaned up the cups as well. So I'm going to re-grease everything and put it all back together. I think it'll work great. Hey, if you've liked what you've seen so far, do me a favor, go out and subscribe to my channel and be sure to click the little bell so you get notified of new videos that come out. So now I want to lube these bearings up. I got my little mini grease gun. I got marine grease. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to squirt some grease in between each of the bearings and do it on both cage sets. And then I'm also going to put just a little bit of grease here around the race and the cup there. So now what I can do is just put the bearing in here. I want the cage facing out. And then also, I don't want to forget about this, I'm going to have the chain over here, so make it easier to put onto the little chain ring there. And then I'm just going to set this over here like this for now. Okay, then I'm going to put a little bit of grease in around the race in here. It's still a little dirty in there, but nothing major. And then I'm going to take the bearing here with, again, the cage facing out, and I'm just going to slide it over here and slide this into place in the cup, just like that. And then I have the little cone here, so I'm going to slide this under here like this and work on screwing this on, and it's going to screw on counterclockwise. Now the trick is getting this little adjustable cone here adjusted so that you don't have play in the crank, but it still turns smoothly. And so right there, doesn't really feel like it has play and it's turning nice and smoothly. But another thing to keep in mind is when I go ahead and put this lock nut on, it's going to tighten it in a little bit more, and then it may start to bind up a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to back this off just a little bit. Now there's just a hair of play in there, but we'll see how that goes. So now I have this keyed washer. There's a little key there. This little key is going to go into this little slot there. And so then I have the lock nut here. So I'm going to put this on here, and be careful not to cross thread these things. You got a slot in there, it makes it easier to cross thread. So this is going to go on here. It should go on pretty smoothly, and it's going to go on counterclockwise like this. And I'm going to tighten this in. And since there's the indexed washer on there, the keyed washer, it'll tighten up against that and shouldn't turn the adjustable cone there. So get this on here, and I'm going to tighten this into place. It tightens counterclockwise, and feel how it goes there. And it's still turning smoothly, no play, it's turning smoothly. So I'm going to tighten it some more like that. Still turning smoothly, and there's no play in there. So that actually feels good in there. Now this is the pedal that had the rusty spindle there, the rusty threads. I cleaned these up on a wire wheel, and so they cleaned up really nicely. If I had like a wire brush, I could have maybe cleaned up in there, but I don't have a wire brush that'll fit that. So hopefully this is enough. Put like some marine grease here on the threads of this and smear it all around, and then work on threading this into here, and this will screw in counterclockwise. And yeah, it's turning in halfway smoothly in there just by hand, up to a certain point anyway. And so get this, and then just rotate this around. Oh yeah, it's going in pretty smoothly. And tighten this on just like that. And then I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Put like a little bit of grease here on the thread, smear it around. And then thread this in here like this, and this will go in clockwise. This, and then tighten it into place like that. Okay, so now let's put the chain onto the chain ring here like this and give it a spin. Turns nice and smoothly, freewheels nice and smoothly, and done. Not really that hard. What do you think? Let me know down in the comments. Hopefully you found this video useful or interesting. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed to my channel, click the subscribe button and be sure to click the little bell so you get notified of new videos as they come out. I'm over on Facebook, RJ the Bike Guy. Go over there, like that page. I post a ton of stuff over there. It's a lot of fun. And I have a webpage, rjthebikeguy.com. Go check that out as well. Anyway, thank you very much for watching.